responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program. Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need
I'm not
with the
hearing
Creator of
anything.
Holistic Medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
Good afternoon. And the time has come, the walrus said, to talk about health and everything related to it.
Yep, just 1 second. Rob, just wanted to make sure. Are we on for live?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody can hear us and see us. Okay, let's do that.
Go ahead.
Today's
show.
Let's see. I wouldn't say that. The show is running itself, and we're just here as your co-hosts. So today's topic: mental health, oxytocin, and of course, how that relates to your health and wellness. And of course, we're going to circle back to several important things. First of all, self-regulation, biogenics, which is the capacity to self-regulate, and stress management. And last but not least, talk about how you can apply certain tools for better life and health. So let's get started. Mental health, oxytocin, and everything else.
Every thought is a prayer, and thinking sets in motion spiritual forces. And at the helm is, of course, Autogenic Training and the 68 different exercises in Biogenics, the origin of life.
I want to mention something. We have had an offer, long-standing offer on the website and everywhere else for people to sign up for information and get lots of great advice, no charge. And for simply download, and one of the things you get to download Autogenic Training. And we'll talk about what Autogenic Training is, which is one of the most powerful, basic self-regulation. It's literally a biofeedback device that you can train yourself in 2 to 3 months to literally reset your nervous system, autonomic nervous system, central nervous system. But the interesting thing is, and I'll share this with you, this just came up with information that came to me, is people who have, for the most part, people who download the freebie, so to speak, Autogenic Training, for the most part, have sent some feedback, saying, well, I wasn't following it because it was a free thing, and it was apparently when it's free, it doesn't hold any value. Now that's interesting.
Well, so instead, they can download a copy, literally, for the lay public of my doctoral dissertation.
Yes.
And that's how I developed biogenics in the first place. So you get the background, you get all the techniques, but if you really want to do it, you're going to have to get the biogenics course.
And that still remains on a special, by the way. So
and 90% discount special.
Now, the value, the amazing thing about it, let's talk about biogenics and how it relates to mental health and wellness.
Well, stress causes the brain to go into overload, and that causes the body to go into overload. So all illness is made worse by mental, emotional stress. Autogenic Training has been around for well over 100 years. There are 28,000 scientific references on how important it is. It is the most studied, the most researched, the most scientifically proven technique for reducing stress in every conceivable way.
Yep. 6 basic phrases. Repetition is the key. Boring is okay. That's what training is, really.
If you don't do it, it doesn't work.
And the goal, I just want to say, the goal of the Autogenic Training and any kind of training, let's say you're learning how to ride a bicycle. It's boring. After a while, you just ride a bicycle, so to speak. Well, that's how that works. If you don't learn, if you don't practice, but the goal is the concept, and this is what I'm telling people, by the way. I'm telling people it's not a question of having to listen to this for the rest of your life. It's a question of owning it. Being able to add the drop of your thought.
It's actually being.
Being.
Yeah.
That's right. So this is a tool you want to have in your head, in your mind.
Especially in today's exquisitely stressful world.
And it is meant to be stressful, by the way. Meant to be stressful.
Well, the important thing is if you can't fix it, then you need to detach from it. My favorite word in the world is detach. I do not watch or listen to the news. As a matter of fact, this last 7 or 8 days, not driving my own car for a good reason, I haven't listened to the radio. So I'm not even going to listen to the radio going around town anymore.
So that's a blessing.
It's not worth it.
Yes.
It's okay to listen to special programs like this, but to listen to the idle news is stressful.
I want to say this for everyone, because I still get messages and questions through our website, through questions. Why isn't what you're talking about and the wellness featured in mainstream media? Now, let's address that. Let's talk about that.
Mainstream media sucks, and I am being as kind as I can. I don't trust the mainstream media to tell me the time of day or the weather.
Well, the only thing I trust mainstream media, this is literally what I trust it for. If they tell me that it's shining, then I'll bring that umbrella. Let's put it that way. That's how I learned. And now this is coming from my background from the former Soviet Russia. We used to have 3 channels at the time. They would all reiterate one another, which is basically what's happening in this country. And what we thought was the free world, it's not. Don't let me get too out of the box here. But the concept is, you can still learn the truth, but you have to go a little deeper, and you have to step out from the concept of and the indoctrination of what we consider information. It's not information; it's misinformation, and it's contributing to mental health and anxiety and depression and stress and suicides. And also all sorts of abuse, substance abuse, elder abuse, child abuse, personal abuse. It's just terrible.
Well, every thought is a prayer. And that's what Autogenic Training does and the Biogenics program does, is retrain your thinking to be optimally healthful. And when you do that, just that alone is going to improve your health, your well-being, and your longevity.
Exactly. I just like to pose a question for the people out there, people who are watching, listening. And by the way, if there's any questions on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and if you see anything, please let us know. We're happy to address it. For the first half of our segment, we'd like to talk about information. So we'd like to give you everything that we can so that you have a big picture, and then we'll take all the questions. But if you have questions in the meantime, send it to us through the Facebook Live or otherwise. And we're working, by the way, on a way to get questions so that even if you can't get through on the line in time, we can still get your question and get back to you, or you can leave your information. So, but we want to get to every question possible. Biogenics, self-regulation, stress management in our world. I'm just going to say it this way. In a world where, humans are at risk. The human race is at risk, so to speak, all over the world. I mean, with everything going on between the fear-demic and all of that stuff, a lot of things designed to hurt us in many ways. I'll say this again, including the V word, and I'm not going to spell it out because we don't want to get shut down. And so, when people ask me what we think, we can't say certain things on the radio, but if you can read between the lines, I hope you can get the message there. For anybody interested in that, by the way, there's American Frontline Doctors. So please take note of that. They give you everything, the white papers, the information, the science. You can learn everything about the topic. And so you can make better decisions for yourself. But let's get back to mental health, and wellness, anxiety, depression, one of the biggest problems in today's world. And I'd like to ask the audience if anybody that they know or themselves is affected in any way by the stress of today's world to the degree that it's causing issues, mental health-wise. And I bet you lots of people will have that.
And if you're sleeping well and feeling well and happy, good on you, mate.
Yeah.
But if you're not, the time has come to retrain your brain to practice the biogenics until you can say, I'm okay.
I'm enough, I'm love, and I'm loved.
And I have a body, I have a mind, I have emotions, but I'm more than those. I am a soul, a spirit, and that's the real you.
And that is the premise of how you can change your life, your health, your patterns, your habits, and patterns of thinking, feeling, emotions, but also physical patterns, lifestyle. Now, today's show, I'd like to focus also very specifically on the transcutaneous acupuncture itself. And let's give a little overview of that, because we talked about that last week, specifically oxytocin and the relation to happiness and health. Let's do that.
Well, oxytocin is one of the two most important hormones in your body. Oxytocin is the nurturing, the bonding, the love hormone. Now, if you were wanted when you were conceived, if your parents were happy with you in the first 7 years, especially of your life, you are a charmed person, because less than 50% of Americans had a happy childhood. And that causes, well, probably conservatively 90% of all illnesses. So if you didn't get the oxytocin bonding that you need, you can make your own and train your body or stimulate your body to make it safely. Now, I'm a great believer and practitioner of acupuncture, and have since the mid-50s. I first converted to electroacupuncture, which is more important even than needle acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
And then the transcutaneous means you don't even have to stick a needle in. You don't have to stick electricity on. You stick an oil on, and you can do an entire circuit, like the air circuit, which raises oxytocin, in 30 seconds. And the oxytocin makes you happy. It is the best antidepressant treatment in the world. And it makes you healthy. That's the most important thing.
Let's talk about how this came to be. In other words, we've done some research, we've done some basic science to really show the relation.
Long ago, I learned that I could stimulate oxytocin with electricity, but it takes a minimum of 30 minutes to stimulate this same circuit. I can do it 30 seconds with the oils. And it has to be these specific oils. Nothing else works on these points. But it's safe and it's highly effective. It is the greatest treatment in the world. It's better than all the mood drugs in the world combined. In fact, a lot safer than all of them combined.
Let's also talk about a combination of that and fire bliss.
Well,
Specifically for the purpose of mental health.
Fire raises DHEA, dehydroepiandrosterone, but it's the anti-stress hormone. And if you stimulate the ring of air and oxytocin comes up, you've got an 80% chance of controlling your depression. If you stimulate fire with it, you get a 70%. And that means you get about a 90+% chance using the two together.
Now, there is a few other sets of oils as well. So let's briefly go over some of the benefits of each.
Well, fire is good especially for rheumatoid arthritis and all of those kinds of autoimmune diseases. It's actually good for low back pain and again for depression. Water is to help people who have hypertension and edema or congestion somewhere. And when you combine it with fire, you can lose about a half pound, some people a pound a week, just by doing nothing except that. Earth raises calcitonin, the most important hormone for keeping your bones strong. One of the most common problems that people have is the bones falling apart, osteoporosis, as they get at age 40 to 50 and older. And calcitonin also is a great pain reliever. It's stronger than morphine. And of course, then there is the ring of crystal, which reduces free radicals a whopping 80% long term. Now, there are other combinations that work. If you use fire, earth, and crystal, it actually regrows or regenerates your telomeres, the tips of your DNA, a whopping 3.5% a year. Instead of shrinking 1%, they grow 3.5% a year, which is good for health and longevity.
So basically, healthy life and longer life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of the transcutaneous circuits and oils are a wonderful contribution. And I often say the biggest improvement in acupuncture in 4,000 years.
It takes literally 2.5 minutes to apply all 5 rings for all the individual and combined benefits. 2.5 minutes. That's not bad.
And right now, you can get all 5 rings,
including oils,
including the oils, for just the cost of the 5 oils.
Yes.
very special for a short period of time.
Yep. Actually, I think our marketing people are gonna kill me, but I'm just gonna say this. But I'd like to extend the offer, because especially in light of the mental health, the dedication for the day, and we just need this so much. So in addition to the Biogenics course, we also have a very amazing and beautiful Transcutaneous Acupuncture course that teaches you everything about how, why, where, what you're getting out of the oils, and how, specifically how to apply it to your body and what to expect. And that is a $399 value, if I'm not mistaken, and that is actually being complimentary or being given at no charge when you purchase a set of 5 oils. And so I'd like to extend that further for, at least a few more days, but I don't know how long it's going to last, but let's make it available.
Absolutely, because it is, in fact, one of our most important contributions to health and welfare.
Wellness, yeah, exactly. Education, knowledge, power. That is, know yourself, know the environment, know what you can do. It's and
do it.
And do it. Yeah.
Having the oils and not applying them doesn't work.
Exactly.
Just as doing biogenics, but having biogenics and not doing it doesn't work.
And this is what I'd like to get back a little bit to what we first started talking. So I thought, when we first started offering autogenic training for free, when people sign up for further information, and that everybody would jump on that because it's one of the most powerful, most effective self-regulation techniques. It lowers blood pressure, cholesterol. It gives you your life back. I mean, energy makes you feel good. But, the important, interesting thing is, and I learned this in other ways, people don't appreciate free. People think that free is worthless, literally. So they get the download, and when we get a feedback, almost less than 10% actually follow through and do this. So instead, I'd like to make sure that if you want good health, if you want to optimize your life, learn, find out, become empowered, and then make the steps. Do everything that you can, because the Biogenics is not just autogenic training, it's the entire 68 plus exercises that mind, body, spirit, biofeedback, and stress management. Stress is behind over 90% of bad things that happen, literally. Anything else on oxytocin? Now let's talk about some natural ways of the things that people don't have to even spend a cent on. How do you raise oxytocin?
Petting a dog, having the dog lick your face, or you petting the dog, that works beautifully.
And by the way, please don't put a mask on your dog. I've seen that. Or yourself. Yeah, that's just...
yeah.
There's no evidence for any of that nonsense. So no masks for dogs, and preferably not for humans. But I'm just going to say it out loud.
Taking a brisk walk in nature can increase oxytocin. And, of course, one of my favorites is laughing. It doesn't even have to be a real laugh. Try it for 2 minutes. You may get sore. Try it for 5 minutes, and it will raise your oxytocin and your DHEA.
Exactly. And that's part of the Biogenics in one of the exercises as well. Laughing meditation. And that's part of the Biogenics course as well. You get all of that stuff.
Interestingly, I think, for your information, I don't think I've told you this. Yeah. I learned about laughing meditation from a dermatologist in Norway. He told me this in one of the lectures, and I immediately took it up, and that's when I tested it and found out how good it is.
Wonderful.
He was laughing at the skin disease. But at any rate.
The other thing I want to say is one of the basic things about oxytocin, nurturing, caring, is, and I'm going to say something else here, the distance and the staying away from people, and basically not visiting people, especially elders and otherwise. That is what's killing people. Even if your oxytocin level is okay, ignore somebody, put them in a box, put them in a basement, put them in an apartment, and what are you going to get? You're going to get reduction of all the good stuff, increase of all the bad stuff, including cortisol, loneliness, anxiety, fear, and shortening of life.
Interestingly, that's in one of the most important research projects in the history of the world on personality and health. Conscientiousness is the #1 requirement. That is a person who is organized and responsible. But second to conscientiousness is a network of friends.
Wonderful.
And a network of friends does not exist with mask and distancing.
No, that takes a human being and a human connection, a soul to a soul, a person to a person, a friend to a friend, family to family. I just want to say this out there, just because people say all sorts of things and which don't really make sense, by the way. Use some common sense. Speaking of common sense,
Our book, Exploring, Extending, Regrowing, the whole concept of common sense, in my opinion, the most uncommon commodity in the history of the world.
And it's being actually, I think it's actually being labeled as a disease, something that's dangerous for your health. In other words, if you have a sense of common sense, you're in danger. Let's put it that way.
but statistically speaking, only 2.7% of Americans have enough common sense to be alive.
And please don't look for common sense out there, because right now you're not going to find any in the mainstream out there.
97.3% of Americans are lacking 1 to 5 absolutely health essential habits.
And that's lifestyle. That's essential.
It's absolutely critical. And that's common sense. Once you know common sense, you either follow it or, well, you get ill and die early. It's that simple. Wonderful book written back in 1979 by John Knowles, or it was actually a long paper, Responsibility of the Individual. He said 95% of people are born healthy and become unhealthy because of human irresponsibility.
And misbehavior.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So the time has come, the walrus said, to speak of many things, and we're speaking about health and wellness and lifelong health. To me, although I believe that we have the potential to live up to 125 to 160 years if we do what needs to be done, the average American is dying at age 79 because of lack of common sense. I mean, the average person dies 21 years early. And of course, they're unhealthy sometimes for 20 years before they die.
So the first step, practical steps, and we're going to go to break shortly, but I just want to say this out loud. The very first thing that I would recommend for everyone, absolutely everyone who has an organ called brain, which is, it's, again, that's another organ that's being, well, I'm not going to go there. In our society, having a brain is dangerous for your health. Let's just put it that way. But using it is dangerous, not having it. Having it and not using it is okay.
Misusing it is.
Misusing it, and sometimes purposely. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get in. I promise I'm not going to get into more controversy right now. But so Biogenics, self-regulation, stress management, wonderful technique, powerful stuff, special in the course with, over 90% off. Why do we do this? Because we want the world to wake up. To wake up to your health, to your personal wellness, and to some common sense. And Transcutaneous Acupuncture, you get an education and a course that's worth over $399, included with a set of 5 bliss oils. You'll see the link if you're on Facebook Live. And we're going to go to break shortly. But do you have anything else to?
Well, the most important thing is you can do it. I can't do it for you. I can't think for you. I can't live for you. But take care of yourself with Biogenics and Transcutaneous Acupuncture. And we'll be right back with you after this brief break.
And
it seems like a lot of things are different these days.
Yeah, I think we're in a break, but we're still live on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So this is our opportunity to talk about anything else, health and wellness, and also mental health specifically. So any other thoughts, oxytocin, happiness, again, until we get some callers?
Well, to me, the single most important comment, and there's an exercise on this in the Biogenics course, is every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, emotions, companions, hopes, despair, everything.
Everything
is affected by how you think. So train yourself to think health. It's that critical.
Indeed.
When you get up in the morning, practice autogenic training. Before you go to bed at night, practice autogenic training. Now, once you practice for 3 months, You can do it in a minute or two.
Now, there's also, if we're going to talk about mental health and raising, well, your mood, emotions, there's also some supplements that we can also recommend in general for people who want to do better.
Well, this is for all people in today's polluted world.
Yes.
Because 75% of the rain has Roundup in it, one of the greatest poisons in the history of the world. Over 70% of Americans live in cities which are poisoning you daily with the fluoride in the water. The dental profession, in my opinion, is more evil than the tobacco industry. They first poisoned us with mercury in dental amalgam fillings. And I even saw 3 patients recently who've had dental amalgams put in recently. I thought they'd stop that crap.
Oh, God, that had to be stopped a long time ago. Yes.
Fluoride is poison. And in fact, if you don't get fluoride out of your water, in another 20 years, there'll be no more babies. The sperm count has decreased from 150 million to 40 million already.
Well,
and when it gets to 20 million, you ain't going to have another child.
Bad news. Yeah.
I've been working with men with sperm counts under 20 million since the early 90s, and it's all because of fluoride. Bite your dentist's hands off if you try to put fluoride in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And don't buy fluoridated toothpaste, and don't drink city water, and fire every member on a city council till the bastards are out of office.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to say it any better than that.
Well, you said it. Norm, one thing I like about you, now you say, now Sagittarius is
foot and mouth disease.
I think we got this right here, right now.
We say it the way we believe it because we think honesty is more important than dishonesty.
Well, let's speak honestly then.
If you ask my opinion, you're going to get it. I'm not at all, well, I'm not bashful.
Well, Dr. Shealy, let me, yeah, absolutely. Oh, a question on the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe when we come back. Is it one of the...
I want to start with the ads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you want to do that?
Let's answer the question right now.
Yeah.
It says, my husband Alex is 81 and would like to know what you recommend for an enlarged prostate.
Okay.
Urgency and frequent urinating.
Let's repeat the question. This is a good one.
Yeah, benign prostatic hypertrophy. Well, at the top of my list is saw palmetto. In his case, I would say 400 milligrams 3 times a day, zinc 20 milligrams a day, and pygeum 50 milligrams a day. Now, if that does not make a big change within a month, it's probably not going to. And don't let any urologist talk you into a TUR. That is a roto-rooter of the prostate. Find a real urologist who does green laser. It is one of the greatest procedures in the history of the world. It is a very safe one. It's covered by Medicare, but don't have a TUR.
TURP, TURP procedure, I believe. Yep. It's, yeah, that's good point. A real good point. Any other questions there? Okay. Well.
Then the time has come.
We got about 35 seconds until we're back on the radio.
35 seconds.
Then we will get back on the air and open it up for questions at 417-447-1777. And we, of course, want to talk about a few things that are really overall important to your health and everyone's health, because everybody needs some of the things we're going to talk about there. So.
Okay. Are we back on the radio? Okay. A few more seconds.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Now, back to Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
And good afternoon. Remember, one of the greatest things for overall health and wellness is acupuncture. And we have a caller. We'll talk about that in a minute. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Is this the radio?
Yes, it is.
Calling you to ask.
You're there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I ask you my question?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So I was wondering what to do. Is this the radio?
Hey, I can only hear one person at a time. Please have only one person talking.
Maybe I'm going to make a small suggestion. If you can turn off the background noise or sound, that will help tremendously. Or just, yeah, go ahead, please. We're listening.
Great. So love the autogenic training. Do that several hours morning and evening before going to sleep and waking.
Great.
And experience some kind of chronic pain and kind of an aching, deep aching. I do exercise a lot, but I also stretch a lot and have a great life and eat well and all that. And I just didn't know what you all, if there are specific of the autogenic programs to listen to. And the other part of that, is it enough to listen to Norm's recordings, which I love, or am I supposed to be doing it like a mantra all day?
Okay, let me jump in. Autogenic training is powerful, amazing. It's like the tip of the spear, so to speak, when it comes to changing things, affecting things. It's your first self-regulation and stress management. But in your case, what you're talking about, your best bet is a Biogenics course. Right now, it's on special, 90% off, over 68 various exercises. And if you get in touch with us, we'll be happy to give you a number of exercises that will be helpful for the pain conditions. There's pain management, a number of techniques, as a matter of fact, but also on a number of any topic, really.
And there's one other thing I want to mention. One of the most common deficiencies in this country is magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
And magnesium by mouth is a waste of time and money. So if you've got local aches, the most important thing would be to get yourself magnesium lotion and rub that.
Okay, so I have that, and I've been doing the autogenic training a couple of hours a night from your program since November.
Wonderful.
But somehow, I love it. I love it.
Now, where is the pain?
It's along my hips, the side of my body, kind of the hips. And I do Pilates and yoga, and I run, and I do the power plate, and I do lots of exercise, and I don't think I'm overdoing it.
Okay,
but
find yourself an osteopathic physician who is a real DO.
Okay.
Look it up. Call them. If they don't do osteopathic manipulation, do not go to see them.
Okay.
Because you need to have them checked to be sure you do not have a rotation of the sacrum. The most common misdiagnosis in this country is a rotation of the sacrum. It's called a sacral shear. And it can be fixed in 30 seconds.
Excellent.
By a proper OD, a DO.
Do you live in town? Let me ask you a question. In Springfield or nearby?
No, I'm in California.
Oh, I wish you could just drop by, and we literally in 30 seconds we can teach you. We can get it in place, and in another 30 seconds we can teach you how to keep it in place. But
wow,
yeah, that's a bit of a drive.
A real DO.
Okay, great. I know of one who's quite amazing, so I will definitely check in with him. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Blessings.
Okay, have a good day.
Have a good one. And hello, turn the radio off, please. I can't hear you if the radio is playing in the background.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's fine.
Is this, am I on live?
You're on the radio live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I have a question about, for two people. Is it possible to ask?
Go ahead.
I have a brother who has schizoaffective disorder, depressive type.
Schizoaffective, depressive, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's been hospitalized for many years off and on.
Gotcha.
And he has a number of problems. But one thing, though, because of all the Haldol and everything else, he has extreme tardive dyskinesia.
Tardive dyskinesia, side effects of medication, psychiatric.
Yeah,
terrible.
There's no good drug for depression.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take one. I'd bite your hand off if you tried to give me one.
But please go ahead. You had a question specifically? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything I can help him with
yes,
the extreme tardive?
Well, that really does require a good consultation and guidance on how to wean from those drugs. But there are certain supplements that can help, and the single greatest treatment in the world is gamma PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequency. Now, I don't recommend that unless you've talked with, someone who knows what you're doing and how to wean from those drugs. But if you don't do a consultation with us, just call and set it up, and we'll guide you on how to do it.
This, I want to say, add a little something to Dr. Shealy's comment. This is a very complicated mental health situation if you want to get off of that stuff and get your life back. It's possible, but it's not going to be very easy, but it's possible. So a consultation with either somebody you trust, or you can give us a call, Skype or telephone, or if you're in person. That would be essential.
Okay. He has very, very severe schizophrenic. So it'd be difficult to get him. I've tried to get him off the medications, but the doctors won't do it. And when they do it, he just goes kind of berserk.
Well, schizophrenia is a little bit more difficult to work with than...
But it's still worth working with because, again, gamma is the treatment of choice. That's where you need a specialist, like a holistic physician. I don't trust 99% of psychiatrists.
Let me put this out there for everyone out there. Doing the same thing and expecting this a different result, that's Einstein's definition of insanity. So if you're dealing with a conventional system and you're getting nowhere, and you're gonna continue to deal with a conventional system, where do you think you're gonna end up? Nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where you got to do something different.
Could I ask you, besides the gamma, is there anything I could do for him?
There will be certain supplements that I would offer, but the Gamma Pimp is at the top of the list.
And Biogenics course.
But not in his case, without the Gamma Pimp.
Not without the Gamma PMF and supplements.
And
That's a little more severe than what yes.
Oh, okay. The other question, if I could.
Please do.
Okay.
Yes, my partner of 39 years, she has a what they call mild cognitive impairment.
Mild cognitive impairment.
Well,
but it's become very severe.
Getting worse. Okay, got it.
Okay, is she on any kind of medication?
Remdesivir, just 1.5 milligram, I think.
On the remdesivir?
Yes.
Oh, is that for? That sounds
to prevent deterioration.
I think there's way better options than that. That's a drug, and that's not. I don't think that's going to be that I wouldn't recommend that necessarily for that specific purpose. If you got other options, better options. But that requires a combination of mental retraining, biogenics, for example, specifically. That's a program. If you go from beginning to end, that's going to help significantly. But also, PEMF. Again, we're back to PMF, optimizing the brain, gamma, and supplements,
basic supplements.
Yeah.
The average brain today must have 10 times as much B complex as we needed 40 years ago. And vitamin C and vitamin D3 and astaxanthin. Those are all important supplements to help the brain cope with today's stress.
And with the cognitive, what the gentleman described with, worsening cognitive dysfunction, I think there's also a number of others, such as NAC, acetyl L-carnitine, but that's best addressed by a personalized consultation to see what's applicable, what's not. You're asking good questions. This is where conventional medicine will not serve you well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I thank you. I'll have to figure out what to do, but your suggestions are helpful. Anything for visual migraines?
Migraines,
there are a dozen things for migraine, but again, that takes a very special consultation.
But we can get people to get off.
Biofeedback and other such things are infinitely better than all the drugs in the world. Wonderful.
Actually, a lot of chronic disease can be managed and resolved, eliminated, so to speak, when you do the right things, when you change patterns, when you change physical, mental, and emotional aspects. But thank you. Wonderful.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
And just one more thing. For anyone interested in a consultation, is 1 second, please. It's a 417-351-5221.
Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yes. What can we help you with?
I have been diagnosed with a hiatal hernia.
Hiatal hernia?
And of course through my regular doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anything they give me doesn't help. And I was just wondering if you can help me with this problem. Any suggestions what I can take to make it better?
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people who can reduce a hiatal hernia manually. There's a very few special body therapists who could do that. I know one here in Springfield. I know one in Florida. Where do you live?
Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, I don't know one in Wisconsin.
There is a technique. If we were to do a Skype consultation, wonderful question. I could actually show you something you can do on your own with something like a bottle of some sort. Just again with a certain angle, certain application. You're not going to keep it in place necessarily, but you can reduce it and you can eliminate the symptoms. So that'd be one way to go about it. Fairly easy technique, but you got to talk to somebody who knows about what they're about this. Another thing is a good digestive enzyme, because with hiatal hernia, there's a stomach acid problem, there's a digestive problem, there's all sorts of issues, and you got to find yourself a good digestive enzyme in addition to anything else.
And far better than a over-the-counter or otherwise treatment for heartburn and the symptoms of it is limonene, Limonene. It's an extract of stomach of orange peel, and you can take 2,000 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day safely.
Okay. All right. But so I can just do a Skype appointment with you, and
yes,
you can
exactly.
Ask for Dr. Shealy-Sorin. I specialize in digestive health, especially. Well, I'm not a GI specialist per se, but a holistic digestive health. So happy to assist you, and I would be honored to work with you.
So can I just ask what particular brand of digestive enzyme would you recommend?
I am certified, and I love working with the Loomis system. Howard Loomis is the short of it, he's a brilliant chiropractor who has developed a system, not just for chiropractors, for anybody who is interested in learning. And I took a special interest in that. And we can talk about what specifically would be helpful. And I already have in my mind exactly what I would recommend for you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for calling.
I appreciate you all.
Yep, absolutely.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Can you cut down the background noise?
Sorry about that. In heavy traffic. Dr. Shealy and Dr. Sergey.
Hello.
All right, 2 quick questions. One, this is your friend Bob Mundy. I've been blessed to work with veterans in Branson, Springfield, all over the country, suffering with PTSD terribly bad.
Yep.
As many as 20 of them a day are taking their lives across America, which is pitiful. What are your recommendations for these veterans that are hurting so bad, that have given so much for our country?
There's no question that the Gamma PIMP device is excellent for controlling that kind of thing with appropriate supplements. It can cure the most serious depression in the world.
So the first and foremost PEMF, Gamma PEMF device.
That's that coil unit that you have over there?
That's it. You got it.
Okay, and
one more thing, I'll just like to say, the Biogenics course for self-regulation, that is going to be essential.
So without the PIMP, it's useless in that kind of situation.
No, together. That's as a combination with PTSD. That's.
Will that help their panic and anxiety attacks?
Absolutely.
Wow, boy, this could be a godsend to so many thousands of them. Okay, and the second question, the vaccines. I'm not taking them. Have you been able to get a hold of one of the printouts from either Pfizer or that other company?
I don't want to print out or anything to do with Pfizer or any other company that makes them, and you'd have to shoot me with a gun to get me to take the vaccine.
Allow me to make a statement. It's a non-controversial statement, so I hope I'm staying within the bounds of what's generally acceptable without, anyway, I'll just say that. It is an experimental, at the very best, to put it mildly, it's an experimental drug. It has mRNA. It affects your DNA. It can affect fertility. It has terrible animal studies. It doesn't have enough safety data. So whoever puts it in their body, that's your call. I advise all my people not to.
I think it'll kill more people than it will heal.
Yes.
I would never ever take it. So thank you. God bless you both, and enjoy this beautiful day. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good one.
Blessings.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hello.
I want to talk to Dr. Shealy.
This is he.
Well, hi, doctor. This is someone who is over 80. I'm in good health. I have avoided doctors and want to continue doing so, but I want to know something in general, some review I could have of my body and condition, like live and dry blood or anything else that you would like to recommend.
I think, Norm, the question is, what's the general suggestion, recommendation for somebody who hasn't been to a doctor or wants to avoid doctors?
Well, I would get certain blood tests, just a regular CBC and a metabolic profile and a PSA. Those are at the very foundation. If they're all normal, then I wouldn't worry.
The other thing, and this is Dr. Sorin, I know you wanted to speak with Dr. Shealy, but I'll just jump in here briefly. I would also, if you haven't had this and you haven't been to a doctor, and God bless, 1 second, please. A few other blood work, fasting lipids, cholesterol, diabetic, hemoglobin A1C, but a holistic evaluation would be worth it if you are interested. Not a general evaluation, holistic evaluation.
Okay, so that's very good. I have a brother who's a surgeon, and he has told me that unless you have a relative who's a doctor, you should not go in the hospital. So,
I got you. And there is a time and a place for everything. Holistic means everything, but use your discretion. Absolutely.
So if I get some blood tests as was recommended and I send them to you, then we could have an appointment and you could give me some advice.
Absolutely. Love to do that.
Oh, good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr. Sorin.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Jill is the acupuncturist in the entire world that I strongly recommend. If you want, for general purposes and our specific reasons, Dr. Jill at Wellness Concepts Clinic, 1200 East Woodhurst Drive, R300 417-877-1300, right here in Springfield. The acupuncturist that I highly recommend. And of course, my favorite supplement as a food is Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. 2 tablespoons is equal to 4 servings of any other food and vegetable in the world. In the produce department at real grocery stores, lowers your cholesterol, lowers your blood pressure, anti-inflammatory, tastes smashingly good, and for the average person, it will bring your intake of antioxidants up to healthy normal. And of course, all year you need adequate supplements. And there's only one place in Springfield that I recommend, Spring Valley Natural Foods. The health food store I shop at, and you should too. They carry all of my goodies, Dr. Shealy's, whatever, but they give you service. To me, that's why I go to Spring Valley. I don't want to look through 5,000 different things by myself. I want them to tell me where to find it and to help me find it. So Spring Valley Natural Foods on South Glenstone Avenue is the place to go. And we'll take this next call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, Norm. Hi, Sergey. This is Helene from Reno, Nevada.
Helene, hi.
Whenever I go to my doctor and I have an annual, they tell me that my white blood cell count is low, but not to worry. What does that mean?
Low white blood cell count. It could indicate that your bone marrow or otherwise is not making as much of not just the white blood cells, but the immune components. So this is where immune optimization program is very important. That's what it tells me.
So take D3 and all of those things.
D3 essentials, youth formula or good B complex, vitamin C. Youth formula is a combination of C, molybdenum, MSM, gives you DHEA elevation, but also astaxanthin, 20 to 30 milligrams in your situation daily, and beta-1,3 glucan. Beta-1,3 glucan, 500 milligrams additional. There's some in vitamin C with Dr. Shealy's essentials, but you probably need a little more than that.
Say that again, beta?
1,3 glucan.
Glucan.
NOW. The company NOW makes it.
Okay. I would like to share with you and your audience that I did autogenic training for like 2 to 3 years, and I loved it. Even though it's free, but I mean, I loved it. When the world became more crazy and stressful, I got the PEMF, and I would like to share with your audience that I have it about 2 months, and the way I use it in different ways. Most of the time, I put a cap on with the coil thing on my head, and I do it for 20 minutes to an hour. Hopefully twice a day. And that when I do it, I feel like I'm on a vacation by the beach. That's how relaxed I feel. So I wanted to share that with everybody, and that I did get it buy it online at ShealyWellness.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Yeah, just a quick thing. The website is actually realholisticdoc.com. www.realholisticdoc.
And good afternoon. You're on the air. It's gone? Okay. Well, then the important thing is, if you want more information, go to realholisticdoc.com. There you can get all the kinds of information available for free. And of course, remember, you are the only one who can do any of this for you. I can't do it for you. Just as I can't breathe for you, I can't think or take or do anything.
Decision to get healthy is personal, individual. It's a choice. It's a choice not to take care of yourself, by the way, as well. So I'd like to say, and we'll continue for those who are Facebook Live and YouTube Live, but a decision not to take care of yourself. We have about 1 minute, so I'll just close it up with with this concept. If you do something good for yourself, lifestyle, essentials, biogenics, self-regulation, or any of the modalities that are health and wellness oriented, or just laughter, sunshine, happiness, that's a choice. Opposite of that is a choice. Lack of that is a choice. Now, we're not saying everything is your responsibility and everything is your fault, but we're saying that you can actually reclaim and take back 90% of all the bad things that happen, and you can reverse that. You have that much power. That's a statement.
And the most important is detach, and that you do with Autogenic Training and Biogenics. So, until next week, y'all have a good one.
Yep. And stay with us for a few more minutes for...
What do you want to do in the 2 minutes?
No. We are off the radio now, so we are going to be just... I just want to mention a few things about on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, all that stuff. So, Dr. Shealy and myself have been on a quest. Dr. Shealy, you've been on a quest for health, wellness, and you've stepped out of the box with a concept of holistic medicine over 50 years ago. Well, let's say around there. I just want to talk a little bit about the world where we are now, and things are not getting better. Things are actually in 2020 and 2021, we're seeing a lot more stress, a lot more problems, a lot more issues. People who've never been sick, who've never been stressed, anxious, depressed,
and over double the usual shrinking of telomeres, your tips of your DNA.
And that's your life.
It's
right
all
there.
related to stress.
Yeah.
It's the greatest stress in the history of the world as far as measuring it in response to health.
Exactly. This is where we have to look at the world. We can't ignore the world. In other words, burying your head in the sand like an ostrich is not an answer for most people. I mean, the world still exists out there as much as we'd like to think it doesn't, even if we want to think it doesn't. But other than that, how you respond to a situation, what you do personally, individually, health-wise, is still your choice. You still have that freedom. You still have the freedom, by the way, for now. And so please understand your freedom, enjoy your freedom, and take care of yourself. Do the things that make you healthy from the basic lifestyle essentials. Self-regulation, Biogenics, it's on a special right now. There's no reason or excuse not to get it. It's a 90% off, and it is so because, well, the world needs it right now. But also Transcutaneous Acupuncture, many other resources. The number one thing that I'm going to say is whatever you do, even if it's just a laughter for 5 minutes a day, nothing else. Laugh 5 minutes a day. Be happy. Do something good for you. That's better than nothing. But that's a process. It's a decision. So take care of yourself. We'll see you next week, and God bless.
Have a good one.